Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, welcome. Happy
Friday.
Thank you.
And it's like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17th. Yeah.
Yep. Welcome, y'all.
It is so hard to
Friday.
believe that we're like so close to the end of January, already stepping into February.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot going on. We have inauguration coming up on Monday.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And it just seems like there's just an awful lot. And it's also Martin Luther King Junior Day on Inauguration Day. Does that normally happen?
So Monday's the inauguration. Are we annexing Canada on Tuesday? Or how does that work?
The Gulf of Mexico.
We don't see much news, but the news that streams across social media.
I saw something from Jack Carter, and he's like, "It's turn and burn Gulf."
Oh, there you go.
I was like, "There you go." I mean, maybe it's up for the highest bidder. I don't know. Maybe Mexico. Who owns it? Yeah. And how can you? That's.
I'm a big fan of their bacon, but I can get that anyway.
Canada?
Yeah,
Canadian or Mexico? Bacon. Oh, Canadian bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like on the Gulf, and there is no Gulf of Mexico up in Canada.
Yeah, that's waiting to get back to that. So,
exactly.
A couple of quick announcements. We've got V8 Mastermind coming up on the 30th. There is still time for those of you out there looking at a V8 group. We've got still some meetings to happen in January, so there's still time depending on your group size.
Yeah, and masterminds are only available to V8 Plus.
Right.
So,
so that's our V8 Plus membership.
Yep.
But
you can do either, choose a home group or do V8 Plus, which is extra content like masterminds and other things like that.
And I socialized last night the idea of doing V8 focus groups, and at least among our members, the interest is strong. Now we're going to take it to the vendor world and see.
We'll see how that works out. And it's basically a focus group for a vendor or a product, and only people that do not currently have the product would be part of the focus group,
right?
So that they can, show their demo and then get good feedback and questions about what it is that they're bringing to market.
We'll be introducing that opportunity,
and that will also be a V8 Plus opportunity too. Okay,
shall we?
Yeah, I think that we shall.
We've got with us today Mr. Jeff Martin from NIADA.
Good morning,
welcome, Jeff.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. We did a recording earlier this week with him for something that will be broadcast later. So, we're like getting to be regulars. So we were discussing like backgrounds and all of those kind of fun things from, the last time that we met. And it's just like, oh, we all kind of look like we're in the same studio just about. So, yeah.
We have the same interior designer.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Unfortunately, we had a technical snag in trying to bring in Paul Folletti. We were recording a conversation around the transfer of, first of all, Brent Carmichael coming over as executive director from NCM. So we look forward to having Paul join and record his part of that same conversation, and we'll bring that to our audience.
That will be recorded content that we'll just drop on one of the Fridays for the morning show.
Yeah,
so
that'll be coming up. So look forward to getting that rescheduled and find the time to bring that half the conversation. But Jeff, we wanted to have you on and get an update, of course, from NIADA. A lot of stuff. We're into the new year, and our first chance to really chat with you in that way since the new year started. So why don't we just start with kind of, you can give us an idea of what kind of the top initiatives are going into the year.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, again, thanks for having me. And before we talk about the beginning of 2025, and I heard you earlier say it's the 17th. It's crazy. We're halfway through January already.
Right.
One of the things that I do want to touch on is we've just closed out 2024, and very excited about the way 2024 went. As you guys know, we've talked about this in the past. We kind of had some housekeeping that we needed to do with the association. I'm happy to report that the association is financially healthy. So I think we're in a position where we can really start focusing on growth, and hopefully continuing to build on some of the things that the past administration have done. But really start focusing on taking care of our members, and so that kind of leads us into 2025. Certainly our focus this year is going to be to you had mentioned earlier Brent Carmichael coming on board. We've been looking at kind of growing and expanding our education footprint in this space. Obviously, we've had the 20 groups for quite some time now. We're really going to be in growth mode with our 20 group program. We're also going to be bringing back the Certified Master Dealer program, which is something that NIADA has kind of held as a hallmark for a long period of time. And then it kind of went into a hiatus for a couple of years. But we're going to bring that back this year for the current Certified Master Dealers. And then certainly we'll be looking to bring on some new Certified Master Dealers as well. I think that program is going to launch in August. And then we have the boot camps that we're very excited about. We're working with our state affiliates to introduce different training sessions that will probably be day-long training sessions where we'll partner with the states to bring more education out to the dealer members of the association. So that's probably our initiative in Q1, is to really start growing those areas. But along with that, and we've talked about this before, is making sure that we continue to be the voice, and I would kind of say the responsible thing that the association has is being the voice for the industry. And so we'll be bringing on some talent to help us with our governmental relations, our lobbying. Last year we brought on Hans Scarborough, a lobby firm out of Washington, D.C. They've been doing a phenomenal job in making connections and helping us. There's a lot of new faces in Washington, D.C. after the election. And so we've been spending some time getting to know some of those faces, certainly spending some time with, now that they have the Speaker of the House in place, we're starting to see who some of the leadership is going to be in some of those committees. And so our lobby team has been helping us there, and we're going to build that out a little bit more as well. And then the other thing that I'd mentioned that's going to be, it's going to kind of be new for us, but it's not really new for NIADA, is we're going to bring NIADA TV back. We're going to be launching that actually this month. We're going to have a little bit different perspective. What we're looking for is NIADA TV to tell what's going on in the industry, but through the eyes of the members of the association, or through the eyes of dealers. You know, we have a lot of industry experts out there, and they play an unbelievably important role. But a lot of times when we talk about different issues and how they impact the industry, dealers a lot want to hear from other dealers, and you guys know that very well. That's why you have people that are dealers, and we're going to do something similar to that with NIADA TV, where a lot of it will be focused on what's going on in the industry, how can we help you, but more importantly, what are other dealers doing to face or to overcome these challenges. And so we're excited about that. Those are a couple of the initiatives that we have coming out in 2025.
So the NIADA TV, that's exciting. You know, we started by BHPH Nation TV, and it's kind of like the platform that everything kind of runs on. Are you guys looking at like more podcast form, or are you looking at just interview form? And is there like going to be a cadence to it, or is it just something people get on the website and they can see different things that has been recorded?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it will definitely be pre-recorded. Think of it more like your nightly news in about a 10 to 15 minute segment. So it really is another platform for us to get a message out that we're already pushing out there through, whether it's our dashboard, which is our weekly email that we send out every Wednesday, or it's our magazine that we send out every month. We have a lot of really good content in there. And what we're finding is that people just digest or take in that content in different ways. And some people, in fact, a lot of young people, I have 2 young daughters, and they like to view all of their content in video. And so it's going to be in video format, but it's going to be a lot of the content that we're already producing as far as like the headlines. And then the interview section, or the interview style, will be very similar to what you guys are doing here, except that it'll be exclusively through the eyes of, not exclusively, but primarily through the eyes of dealers.
Awesome.
So we, the thing about people viewing it on demand, and what we learned about our podcast, Jeff, is certainly many times more hear it as a recording because people are on the go. These are busy car dealers, whatever. But also some told us recently that they play it back on like 1.5 or 2 times speed. I guess because I speak too slowly. I'm not sure what that's about. But that's kind of the way people consume media. It seems is kind of on the go, and in the car, and got a short drive or whatever. And so they're trying to educate and get to stay connected. So I think it's a nice thing. I do. We got a hello from Robbie Case. I believe Robbie's in Alabama, right, Jeff? You probably
love Robbie Case.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting news. I like for the things that you were talking about. That's like the new thing. really, because I don't think I've been in the industry since NIADA TV was active.
It's probably been around. It's just not anything. They didn't promote it in the same way, so you haven't seen it. But yeah, that's good news. That's obviously the virtual platform and on demand kind of content is what we're seeing. Dealers respond to, and so I just think it helps. And we're always amazed when people find the stuff from way back, stuff that we put out there on a platform from some time ago. But I think for you guys, it's about membership. And we're always trying to encourage dealers to find your state association, get plugged in over there. Some of our listeners don't realize that a state membership includes in every state, right, Jeff? If you are a member of your state association, that includes your national membership.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so it's a dual membership. And so once you join your state association, if the state association is affiliated with NIADA, you're automatically a member of NIADA. And kind of to your point, Jim, we have a number of states who will be going into their legislative session. Really, gosh, some of them will be starting this week and some have already started. And, that's really the state associations play such a critical and important role for the industry, but primarily it's making sure that they're watching the legislation, what's going on at their state capitals, obviously introducing new legislation that will be advantageous to the industry. There couldn't be a better time. And I don't mean like a better time ever. I mean like a better time right now to be a part of that state association, because the strength that you have when you go down to the Capitol to be able to say we have X number of members that are supporting this association just gives credibility to anything that you're working on at the legislative session. And so couldn't encourage, if there are dealers out there and you're not a part of your state association, I would encourage you not only to join the state association for the benefits and the services that they give, but just to help that voice. I mean, if you care about the industry, you've got to be a member of your state association.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Real quick, Corinne, good morning. This is Corinne from Pastime.
Corinne, she's up early.
She very exciting news for NIADA. Great job, Jeff. We are advocates for NIADA, and it's interesting. We've pulled like our membership in V8, and there are still a lot of people that are active and that are plugged in that have not joined yet. And we as advocates of joining your state association, it is probably the best money that you can spend for what it gives you in access to education, access to legal, access to the new things that are happening, and also adding your voice to what happens on your Capitol Hill, like you said, and nationally.
I think that reputation, just by adding your membership, $2 for that membership supports that representation out there at the national level, which is so important because there's some big stuff happening. There's always something going on that affects the used car industry, but there's just a ton of stuff, ton of dialogue with CFPB.
Oh my
and there's
goodness.
just it's a time that we want to be part of an association that has collective strength to be able to go and represent us well. And Jeff, you guys are doing a great job. And I got to circle back to the thing about the financial health of the association last year. That hasn't always been true in recent years. So we just know that that's a nice step, because you can certainly serve a lot more people when you're financially healthy yourself, right? And so I think that's a really positive thing, and you're to be commended for getting that in place. So
absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that, but you guys know it's a team effort. We've got a great board that is focused on making sure that we're financially responsible. We've got fantastic vendors and sponsors who support the association, and then the dealer members as well. We just have to make sure that when those dollars come to us, we're being responsible with those dollars so that we can provide the service that we should be providing out there for all of our members, our dealer members, our associate members. I saw Corinne's name pop up there earlier. She's unbelievable advocate for the industry and has done yeoman's work in a number of states, helping state executives understand legislation that is out there that would be detrimental to the industry. And we've talked about this numerous times. I mean, that kind of big tent mentality, the more people that we have pulling the wagon in the same direction, the more effective we're going to be. So man, I appreciate those comments, but it is a team effort, and I can't thank all the people that are part of the association.
Well, it is a team effort, but it also takes great leadership to get those things taken care of. And it's not that the leader has to know all the things, but the leader just knows how to pull the right people together and to get the right answers. And
so it's okay. We expect you to be modest, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You hire a bunch of really smart, talented people, and then you get out of their way. And that's what I'm good at. I'm good at getting out of their way.
That's awesome.
So any other initiatives that we talk about? I told you before we started, I thought it'd be fun to have our listeners get to know Jeff Martin a little bit more today. So I want to go there. But before I do, if there's any other initiatives or things going on at NIADA that you want to talk about.
Well, I mean, the thing that I'm probably, what's kind of front and center for us right now, obviously, is we opened up the registration for our convention on Wednesday. Very excited about that. June 23rd through the 25th out in Las Vegas.
You changed the dates because it's the same time every year. It's always been on my birthday, and this year it's not.
Well, we used to we used to do that just to celebrate your birthday. It was a big
I know. Even though I got thrown out with a cake.
Well, I'll tell you, we try really hard to stay off of Father's Day, and it's not always possible. Next year, we're going to be in Colorado or in Denver, and it is going to be back on Father's Day. But we're trying really hard to stay off of that. We're going to keep that footprint in June. And this year we're going to have 5 tracks again. We're going to have over 170 exhibitors in the exhibit hall. We're going to focus again on that retail management, compliance, buy here, pay here. I think those are all very important. There's going to be, you'll see this year. Last year we really transitioned to a lot more dealers presenting and dealers on panels, and you'll see even more of that this year. Our surveys just continue to come back and tell us that dealers learning from dealers is something that has just been received very well from our attendees. So you'll see more of that. We anticipate 800 dealers out there this year. That'll be about 1,200 members. Of course, we'll crown our National Quality Dealer of the Year. A lot of exciting things going on. If you're in the independent space, as a dealer, as a vendor, if you're just anywhere in that kind of ecosystem, you should definitely mark your calendar and plan on being out in Vegas June 23rd through the 25th.
Now, I quickly, you went over this. Next year, it's in Denver?
That's correct.
So we're moving away from Vegas, and we're going to be in Denver.
We are, yeah. One of the things we're looking at is we've got members all over the country. Vegas is a fantastic place, and it's a great place to have a convention. But we're looking at kind of rotating the convention from kind of the West Coast to moving in the middle of America, and then somewhere maybe out more on the East Coast. I've got to be careful because when I say East Coast, sometimes I'll say like Nashville, and people are like, that is not the East Coast. But just kind of rotate it so that we're giving all of our members an opportunity to attend and not always having to fly to the same location.
I love that because when we talk to dealers, the time away and the cost of travel and the cost of that is a factor for a lot of them. So I love that, finding ways to be able to bring it to the dealers or closer to the dealers is fantastic.
And that time zone adjustment for our East Coast folks is tough, in Vegas for 4 or 5 days can be.
Well, I know when we do the podcast, when we're there, it's just like crap.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. If you're coming from, the East Coast, I mean, it's really an extra day either on the front end or the back end, and sometimes both. And we try to be very respectful of that time as well. You'll see on this year on Thursday, it ends a little bit sooner. And the idea there is to allow people to be able to fly out that afternoon if they need to, and not make the event quite as long as it's been in the past. That was one of the things we've heard from a lot of dealers anyway, is that it's just hard to be away from their dealership that long. I mean, we have day passes. We have things that we're trying to do to accommodate that. But some of it is just to make sure that we're listening to our members.
Yeah, well,
I do want to mention one thing that's really fun. So we have probably 10 or 15 people who have already registered since Wednesday. We have a really something that's new for us this year. We've partnered with AutoZone and AllData to offer a supercar driving experience. And so we're going to draw 10 names every month. We're going to draw 10 names from the people who have registered, or who have anybody who is a paid registrant, and you're going to have an opportunity to go and experience the supercar driving experience, which is to drive some souped up fancy car for 10 or 15 laps at a closed course there in Las Vegas. So we're excited about that. Also, it helps us to encourage people to register for the event sooner. So the sooner you get registered, you're in the drawing. Every time we do a drawing, you'll be in there. So
this isn't on the track that the NASCAR track, is it?
It's not at the NASCAR track. It's at a closed track that the company that we've partnered with.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is we introduced Brent last year to someone that we know very well. Well, he works with us. That is an exec at Allegiant Air, and they got talking about NASCAR, and it was just like we had to sit back and just let them go. And so he's like, Brent's like, hey, this is really cool, and he says, anytime you want to come to it. And so when you said race cars, I was like, I wonder if, but that's fantastic.
So now we're going to get to know Jeff Martin, but now we get to know a little something about Brent Carmichael. He's an avid NASCAR guy.
He's an avid NASCAR guy.
You can know that's something that he definitely gets excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that all sounds really exciting. That's fun.
That's
and
great.
I think I would guess, I've never sat at the registration desk or been a part of enrolling these folks, but I would guess a lot of the dealers wait and you have probably a lot of enrollment right there at the end, which means you're going to have less chance of drawing one of those
early
seats. So probably I'd get in early. I'd get in there early, get registered early. You want to anyway for hotel discounts and all the stuff.
Well, yeah. And I mean, look, so we have early bird registration. I think it cuts off May 23rd. Okay. So it's $545 to join before that. After that, it's $745. And if you wait and you join on site, it's $845 for members. It's a pretty easy formula. Be a member of your association, register early.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for a lot of folks, that $300 they can save by registering early, that could be slot machine money. So
Well, look, I mean, you say that, Jim, but in reality, that is your dues, right? Like for most state associations, they're $300. If you register early for convention, you've paid for your dues in your state association.
Good point.
That's awesome.
And the value is always there. I mean, hearing from dealers on stage is one thing. Chatting with dealers at lunch and just fellow members who are doing what you do. I always say that as a former dealer myself, I just know a lot of times those nuggets and connections that you make, in the hallways and at the breaks is just is also high value. That's hard to explain, but we definitely encourage people to be there and get registered early. Get out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. That all sounds. I perused the website yesterday and was just like, oh, I see. The lineup for education is and I was like, how the heck did you get Darla to teach?
It wasn't cheap. She's our highest paid speaker.
I bet.
A big check. Yeah.
I bet. I was excited about that because
I will tell you, Michelle. So she did this exact same presentation at our Buy Here Pay Here dealer forum, and it had so many attendees that we actually had to ask people to go to a different room. And then the remarks that we got back from our survey afterwards. We almost had no choice except to have Darla do this presentation again because it was so positive.
Wow.
That's awesome. Adrian, good morning. Buenos dias. Jim, Michelle, and Jim. Jeff Martin is the man.
There you go.
I don't know about that. He was a Buy Here Pay Here dealer. Yeah, good to see.
He is. Yeah.
So that makes a nice segue. St. George in that area where they are. That's big golf country. So I want to ask you, Jeff, are you a golfer? Do you enjoy the game of golf?
I have lost a lot of golf balls. If that qualifies, then
it doesn't. See, now success in golf does not equate to enjoyment unless you're someone that's like, I have to win or I have to. So, do you enjoy golf?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I mean, look, I would say it's almost with anything in life. It's the people that you're with that really makes the difference. And I'm so fortunate. I've got a number of I've got some great golf buddies, and
that's awesome.
Yeah. So who's the worst golfer? I'm kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer. He looks like he wants to.
I actually could answer that. I won't use the name, but I'll tell you that I went golfing one time with a state representative, and he on the very first, and he told us he hadn't golfed in a long time. On the very first tee, he hit the ball, but the head of the golf club came off.
Oh boy.
And actually went further than the ball.
Oh boy!
No. But he was awesome. It was a great time.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
We love golf, and neither one of us are good. And I feel like it's a successful it's a successful game if I don't lose a ball.
Yeah.
So,
I just say about the game, I refuse to take it seriously. Like that's just kind of my motto going into it.
Right. We've golfed with people that are like, no, that's out of bounds. Yeah, it's like, by whose rule?
Yeah. And by whose scorecard? I don't even have a card.
So, well, if you ever get to the point and you think you're good, you go play with someone like Paxton Wright.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll play in flip flops and beat you by 14 or Jeff Baker. I mean, so anytime you think you're doing okay, go play with one of those guys.
It's like you got too much time on your hands. You must be practicing a lot.
Right.
So I'm
guessing there's some very good golfers out there.
Yeah. I'm guessing in our group. What you do.
I think that to me is a sign that they're not working hard enough.
Right.
If they're really good at golf.
Is that why we've only gone like once or twice a year for the last few years? Because it's just like there's no time.
Why we're such bad golfers.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing somebody does what you do and you were at Texas for many years. So you probably played some really fantastic golf courses. Got a favorite? Anything come to mind?
Wow. So Spanish Oaks is a private course here in Austin. I've had the privilege of having an opportunity to play that a couple of times with Bob Blankenship, who's a great member of the association. That's probably it's certainly the most challenging course I've ever played, but I'd argue it's probably the nicest course I've ever played.
I didn't get to play when Texas had their convention at the JW Marriott in
TPC.
That's one that was touted as a PGA course. Is supposedly pretty popular, and I haven't played that one. I thought that might be on your list, but
if you can hit them straight, that course is not that difficult.
Okay. I hit one straight once.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I've done that.
I have a question. What is your first concert you ever went to?
Wow, first concert I ever went to, I would probably George Strait, and I think it was probably because my parents probably couldn't find a babysitter. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I think I would say George Strait.
So you're a country fan?
I kind of like all genres. I'm probably country, but maybe a little bit more blues and jazz.
Yeah,
right on.
He's in that area of Texas where there's a lot of great music. Has been over the years, and there's
Austin. Is it Austin? City Lights.
City Limits.
Yeah.
So
great venue.
Yeah.
So where'd you grow up, Jeff? Where'd you go to high school?
So I went to high school. I grew up in Franklin, Texas, and that's where I went to high school. It was a little 2A school at the time, about 1,400 people in my town. I graduated with 44.
There you go. Yep. So he knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now my school sounds big because mine's like 130 in my class.
Mine was like Oklahoma. 500 and something.
Yeah.
I grew up in Seattle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they were probably serious about football when you were in school.
Yeah. Yes. If you're from Texas, you're serious about football.
Yeah. I've learned this.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
So when I was young, my dad told me that I could when you're a kid, you can either work or you can play sports. And then the only other option is to get in trouble. And so I either had to be working or playing sports. And so I played every sport I could play. Because like working where I grew up meant that you were either hauling hay or pitching watermelon or fixing fence. And my senior year, I lettered in 6 different varsity sports. And it was, and I tell people all the time, that was primarily to stay out of working.
Yeah. Yep. My brother and I still complain to my dad, like we played every sport there was until the alfalfa was ready to harvest. And then
That's right.
On the farm, on a tractor, we used to watch the lights of the baseball fields in town when the kids were playing baseball and we were out there working on the farm. So we still complain about it. In the reality, it was a great way to grow.
They're still bitter after all of these years.
Oh, we just pretend to be bitter. We pretend to be bitter to complain. Yeah.
It's a great learning opportunity, whether it's sports or working, either one, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was we learned the value of hard work and all those things back there. So yeah, it's all good stuff. But
I learned a lot about losing.
Oh yeah,
it's what I learned a lot about.
And athletics, yeah, he had some of that too.
And you still show up.
Yeah,
right.
Hard
to be good at that. But
well, I mean that is probably one of the better life lessons is to give it your all, still lose, and be graceful about it, but I'm sticking.
And
it's tough at 16.
Yeah.
And then your attitude on Monday is really after getting off the weekend, how do we feel at practice on Monday? That's always a shift. But yeah, good stuff, Jeff. Thanks for making time to chat. It sounds like a lot of really positive developments at NIADA, and we're excited to support that, and you'll see us at the conference, I'm sure. And we're going to continue to encourage people to get there. We know it's a
register
high value
early.
And and especially those new folks never been. If you're not sure, call me. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah. And it was fun to get to know you a little bit better. And we always enjoy chatting.
Yep.
So
thank you, Jim and Michelle. Appreciate it. Thank you for what you do for the industry as well.
You're welcome. Bet. Thank you. All right. I'm going to put you backstage. If you need to get to work, great. If you're still there, we'll chat with you for just a second after we're done closing out. All right. Thanks. Okay. Well, I always enjoy when we have Jeff here. He's just always such a positive person and all of that. So
widely loved and respected. Just quickly before you roll this thing, we got Allison Harrison coming up. We've got some other Allison Harrison, for those who don't know, is an attorney out of Ohio.
She just joined NIADA too.
As
legal counsel.
And we'll have she was awarded, it's on LinkedIn, I forget the award now, but we'll make sure and find out before she comes on. But she's a very gifted attorney, who's very focused on the auto industry. And so we will have her here talking about what happens if I get sued. Yeah. And it happens. So we'll have her on coming soon. I forget the exact
date. So the 29th, I think it's the last Wednesday of the month.
And we've got Kristen Acosta coming back. Kristen Acosta is a speaker at NIADA.
She's going to be on a panel. Yeah.
And so we've got those kind of things coming up. I've reached out to Hugo Sanchez about bringing him back for that conversation around EBITDA.
Yeah.
And so there's some stuff
Lots of good stuff.
We're just gathering up education.
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday.